Good day to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in for Frontier Finance. My name is Gareth Lewis, and I'm joined with two very special guests, as usual. Mufti Faraz Adam, Director of Fasset Islamic and Ethics and Sharia Compliance at Fasset, a renowned Sharia advisor and Islamic banking and finance practitioner. And we are joined with a very special guest today as well, Murad from Taka Dao. Murad is the CEO of Taka Dao, a Sharia-compliant blockchain native platform enabling community-based finance and insurance. Murad has over 10 years of experience and is a serial entrepreneur and angel investor in the space with a very strong track record of building and scaling innovative products and solutions in the MENA region and beyond. Murad is very passionate about leveraging the power of Web3 and blockchain technologies plus Islamic principles to create more equitable, inclusive, and resilient financial systems. Before I go on and introduce him any further, allow me to hand the mic directly over to Murad and Faraz to just tell us a little bit about Taka Dao and what are the things that you're achieving. Murad, over to you.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much, Garrett, for the great introduction. It's also a pleasure being on the podcast with you guys. You've been doing amazing work for the past 5 years. I've been looking at you guys at Fasset. I really like your vision and mission, and I've been very inspired actually by your story before launching Taka Dao 2 years ago. So a bit about me and Taka Dao. I've been in the startup ecosystem for the past 10 years, as you mentioned. And we just a few years back, 2022, I got a chance to get acquired by the IKEA group. So my previous startup was a peer-to-peer marketplace with a fintech solution, with payment integration and a logistic component that got acquired by IKEA. And while actually being acquired, I had a lot of time to think about what would be the next step, either continue to help, invest in local champion, or go back into the arena of building something that would be disruptive. And to my surprise, after, spending 12 months of searching into the market, I was not really excited about some of the things that were being done, particularly after discovering and reading the Bitcoin white paper. I was really fascinated, to be honest. And I was like, wow, this is something that has to be used in order to uplift our community and the greater community at large, because the promise of Bitcoin was to make financial more clear, transparent, borderless, and so on and so forth, as we all know. So I was trying to really combine my understanding of this technology, blockchain, and what was being done among entrepreneurs to really tackle the issue. And again, I was like, really, for me, the time was of an essence. I was like, I have to step in right away. And I could not just take my time to figure out if I should start, going into a venture again, because as we all know, when you go into venture, it takes sometimes to 5 years at least minimum commitment to maybe 10 years, to build a successful company. And I realized that, that's something that was not available in the market, particularly when I tried to invest some of my money into a digital asset. And crypto was a big yes, So I was looking at Bitcoin in particularly, and also Ethereum and other currency. So eventually, after really digging into deep, me and my wife were founder and partners for the past, many years. We decided to. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna. So sorry about that. So so I was like, there's something that has to be done in terms of the insurance landscape. So I'm from France. I'm a global citizen, live in the Middle East for so many years. And the biggest issue for me personally was to being able to be insured in a Sharia way, halal way. And I could, thanks God, I live in the Gulf, and I was being able to, because of my residency, getting access to a certain type of insurance, which is Sharia compliance, takaful insurance. Hence, I noticed that I was not alone. Millions of brothers all over the world, they were like facing problem being insured and being global citizen, not living in a single city, and they wanted to have also this problem. Likewise, my wife had a personal experience as well with a friend passing away and having an issue to get the right protection. And unfortunately, globally, our community is more like reactive instead of being proactive into making sure that we get insured. Hence, that's how Taka Dao was kind of born, about the finding a more superior, transparent, borderless product that could help our community, but not only our community, the greater community at large, because for me, and I think I'm sure that brother Faraz will echo that, we believe that technology that we have, and also cryptocurrency that is now available, like of the Bitcoin and everything, is really putting people back into a more sustainable world where you have more transparency, clarities, and stuff like that. And that's why we believe that that could be a game changer. Hence, Taka Dao was born.
Murad, thank you. Thank you so much for that explanation. And I want to delve deeper into Taka Turn and how this works and the mechanisms behind it. But before I do that, and probably for the benefit of those watching who perhaps aren't familiar with Takaful, perhaps Mufti Faraz, if you could give us an explanation of how Takaful works in essence.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. And it's very inspiring to listen to Brother Murad's kind of like life, his journey, and where he is. It's not a surprise. All these founders that we have, they all live off and dream of a vision that they have. That's what drives them every single day. Even at Fasset, we have Rafi, our CEO and founder of the co-founder of Fasset. Same thing. If you listen to him, it's a very similar idea. Like you're seeing a problem, you have something that's really like bugging you inside, and it's pushing you and it's driving you. You see a potential solution, and you're that bridge in between the solution and the problem, just trying to resolve everything, right? So it's brilliant and lovely, and very warming to see individuals like yourself really take on the challenge, and that takes bravery, that takes a lot of like patience and many other qualities. So we're very happy to see where you are now and the growth that you've had and the journey that you're on, and it's brilliant to have you in the ecosystem. Coming to the question on Takaful is an amazing Islamic finance product because it's there really at the heart of the community. That's what Takaful is truly about, where it's the community working together to solve their mutual needs. Unlike your conventional insurance, where you just pay money, you're transferring your risk over to an insurance company like commercial insurance, and they will cover you, they'll indemnify you when anything goes wrong. In Takaful, the difference is the community comes together, we all contribute, pool our resources together. These funds typically are invested, but then if anybody faces a mishap amongst the group, then we all want to help him and support him. So this pool will help them and look after them. From a Sharia compliance perspective, there's some like key issues why conventional insurance is problematic. I don't want to get into that right now, but just the key idea is Takaful is not risk transfer, it's sharing of risk. It's community working for the benefit of the community, and it's about mutually helping one another and protecting yourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Mufti Faraz. Sorry, Murad, after you, please go ahead.
Yeah, to add on what Mufti Faraz is saying, it's very amazing because, by default, insurance, when we go back to the origin of insurance, mutual insurance, they were by default Sharia compliance in the sense that, they were avoiding uncertainty, riba, and gharar, those gambling issues, and also uncertainty and interest. And that's what is beautiful. And the concept of Takaful, as he mentioned, it's really pretty recent They started in the 1970s back in Sudan to collect the the narrative among the companions who used to come together to protect one another, and that's how the modern takaful today exists. But to not, I'll maybe explain to you later, but Taka Dao is coming really to revive the original essence of takaful. Because a little bit what we see today, takaful has been a little bit tempered in the sense that they try to look after the traditional financial insurance, conventional insurance, not because they want to, it's because the way the system, the fiat system is made up and set up. And if you want to launch any product, eventually you have to line up with existing conventional product. For example, you have to reinvest a certain amount of the takaful in a certain bond that are kind of bringing other issue. Or in the takaful concept, you have a notion of re-takaful or reinsurance coming along. Okay, and then in order for the takaful concept to exist globally, the issue that the regulator are looking at is to try to regulate it the same way they regulate the conventional insurance, which should not be the case as well. But I can deep dive into that if you want to later on.
Thank you, Murad. And so, can you help us understand how the decentralization aspect of the blockchain technology is advantageous to Takaful? How are you leveraging those advantages for this Islamic product?
Yeah, as Mufti Faraz was mentioning, the beauty of a community. So it's all around community, and as we know, you can only have the best pure community getting together where you have a less of a centralized issue, like a single point of failure. When you have a product that has a centralized mechanism, it's bound to abuse, risk, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I say, do not trust Murad, do not trust Taka Dao, trust the decentralized mechanism around the DAO, the Takaful DAO. Okay, and I have to dissociate between the two. Taka Dao is a technology company, and the Live DAO, the product that we're launching, the first product, it's totally decentralized, owned by the community. How it works, as Mufti Faraz was mentioning, is owned by the community, and it's all managed by smart contract. So let's assume we all agree to come together for a specific reason to protect one another. Okay, so we pool resources and money together. We pay the claim, and when the claim are paid, and there is a leftover from this pool of money, it goes back directly to the participant. And the aspect of the decentralization here is that nothing can happen without the community together, meaning it's totally owned by the community, and there's not a single point of failure in our case. So there's no way it's centralized that I can do whatever I want with the fund. Then we have, of course, limited right through the DAO member. So the DAO member decide on electing Taka Dao to become the software company that manage their underwriting, risk management, and so on and so forth. So we build from scratch the entire model. We like to call it is like an hybrid between mutual to Takaful concept. Okay, and we are not again an insurance or Takaful per se. We are membership product, so it's owned by member, where there is not a single entity controlling the fund. Okay, and then of course the fact of having a smart contract that will be inedible, meaning nobody can tamper it, nobody can check it. If A happen in this particular case, if the person die, the fund will be released to the first in kind through the smart contract after validation of the document that are set up into the on-chain. And that's why we are doing everything on chain in order to have clarification among the members. Members can see the contribution, can see what is left in the fund. It's really an open ledger as well, that where people can really see everything all at once. Going back again to the pure model of traditional, the essence of Takaful, the way it was created by the forefathers back then in the 1980s and 70s. Yeah.
I think it's a great solution, Murad, and actually the technology it's tailor made for Takaful in a way. So I think that Taka Dao is seriously onto something here, and I'd love to understand from the point of view of the end users. Let's take the Life Dao, for example, the Mutual Protection Fund. When would that be available so that people can start buying into this?
So it's already on testnet. So you can go ahead and put your age, your location, your name, whatever, and boom, you're gonna have an instant quotation being issued to you. Okay. The beauty of what we are doing is that because we build for the past 2 years on chain and building a Web3 quote unquote product, we were finding it very hard for Web2 focused people to get on board. So we made it very easy. And we have account abstraction, for example, and so on and so forth. So you can just go to the website and test the testnet, and then inshallah we'll be launching live mid or beginning of February. And yeah, and the exciting part of that, so you have to look at it in that way. So Taka Dao is the protocol that can create any kind of risk or mutual product. Let's assume you are a large community of Uber driver who wants to insure against a certain risk. We could literally build Uber driver insurance for this large community. Let's assume you have a homeowner who cannot get a particular insurance for, let's say, for fire, which is very difficult to insure for fire. They can come together, pull the resources together, and insure against that risk. And you can go on and go on. You can have the diving community who finding very hard to find the right insurance. Same thing. So Paddy, for example, can request Taka Dao to create this thing. So we will gather all the data information, create the risk with our actuarial team and everything, and then deploy this mutual membership, I would say, protection to the people. And I have to be careful with the use of the words. They are not like, insured. They are like member contributing to the DAO.
Thank you, Murad. And I would say that this is another example of a great product, which is born out of Islam, but actually the benefits would be, I would argue, would be faith agnostic. Why would one not want to participate in such a system, and particularly with the technology that you provided? So I think what you're doing is incredible. Can you just give us a view of how do you see the future going for you? What does your roadmap look like? What is the next sort of 12, 18, 24 months like for Taka Dao and for Takaful in the Web3 space?
Yeah, also to double down on what you just mentioned. When you look in terms of Islamic product, Sharia compliance, Musharaka, Mudaraba, and Mufti Faraz will definitely echo on that. What the Islamic actually financial system is able to do is actually creating superior product that benefit humanity at large. Because of the inherent way of how is it built, it actually is a net positive for society. The problem that we're facing, quote unquote, without criticizing our brothers that have been working in Islamic finance for the past 50 years, they have been doing a great job. But unfortunately, we build on top of already corrupted system, okay, ribawi system, okay? And because of that, we kind of build using this framework. But because of the rise of decentralization, blockchain, and DeFi and everything, we see an opportunity to go back to our essence and go back to building true Sharia compliance products that are super impactful for every single one of us, not only the Muslim, but everybody. And in a certain degree, I would say, a lot of people are using Islamic banking in Malaysia, even though they are not Muslim, because already there is a kind of a superior product and value in that type of product. But imagine now you go totally into on-chain and DeFi and decentralized, you will have a pure Islamic renaissance, I would say, into the financial system. And hence, Taka Dao is also part of that. Equity, sharing equity. So the way, even when you contribute to the entrance DAO, the Takafut DAO, you're part owner of the DAO. And you have a certain equity, and you have you have an impact not only for the people you affect and your own protection. You also benefit from any of the musharaka, the sharing of the profit that the DAO generates itself. So it's really, really amazing in that sense. And then we're able to do that just because of the emergence of this new technology that are enabling us to do those kind of projects. So looking at how Taka Dao, look, the insurance industry is like $13 trillion of revenue yearly. What we try to do here is like really it is a really Islamic insurance globally. We're the fastest growing population in the world, the youngest population in the world, and unfortunately the most underserved in terms of financial product, even in insurance product. So for us, this is a very an amazing future. If we capture even 1% of the global industry, it's already a huge gain. So what we see also as Taka Dao is to become like really a product that uplift nations. One of the biggest challenge with a lot of global South nation is that not a single insurance wants to come in, okay, to insure, let's say, the underinsured. Let's say Pakistan, for example, is 80% of the population are underinsured because the big boys, they don't want to come and insure individual. It's too expensive. So they come and they usually enter as a B2B insurance system, and they don't want to do individual. For the mere reason that it costs them like $50 maybe to issue a contract. And when you do a claim processing, it might be costing them $100. So it's very difficult for them to come and become a micro insurance and so on and so forth. When it comes to Taka Dao, for a fraction of a cent, you can have a smart contract being launched. The claim processing is all done by the participant and the DAO member. So we're also cutting costs. So the future of Taka Dao, after really tackling our main target audience, who are the most, in need, Western Europe, Muslim, Indonesian, Malaysia. We believe that this solution will be a big plus. And we're already in talk with Islamic Development Bank and so on and so forth to really bring this protocol into life among state members. Why the state who cannot afford to have a system that can uplift their own community could leverage this kind of product to make sure that a certain insurance or certain protection can be made. And on top of that, again, that really uplift our community and the greater community as well.
Murad, thank you. And on behalf of us all at Fasset, we wish you all the best of luck for the success of Taka Dao. I think it's an incredible project and genuinely has widespread appeal. And we wish you all the best. For everyone who's watching, we'll also attach all of the resources for Taka Dao, so you can have a look at Taka Dao and all of the products and all of the funds as well, and get on board with everything that Murad and his team are doing. Faraz, perhaps I'll hand the mic over to you just for some final thoughts.
Yeah, I think one thing really resonated with me, which Murad mentioned, this is my personal journey with Fasset as well. It's that Fasset and the Web3 generally gives us a blank canvas. Right? This is the beauty, right? If we have opportunity here, how do we redesign or create financial services for the world, for humanity, in a fair way, in a level playing field, where everybody benefits from the upside, downside is protected as well, like really transferring value and exchanging value. And that is the Islamic way, right? When talking about Islamic finance and things, it's really about bringing benefit and adding value. That's the core idea of Islam and Islamic finance generally, right? It's about adding value to people. You can only take money if you give value to people. That's the simple idea. So you have to give value to get value. And Web3 allows us to do this in a completely different way, where we're not restrained or restricted by things which might impact the Islamic philosophy and idea, right? And this is the beauty of Web3, and this is what makes me so excited in Fasset and the work that we're doing at Fasset, looking at Taka Dao and seeing what they're doing. It's this drive to really try something different. If we fail, it was worth the experiment, because even from a failure, there's benefits and lessons, right? So it's just taking that step, the opportunity, and trying something is a success in and of itself here, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm really bullish on the our Shabab, the young generation of builders. And like you say, we appreciate all the work that we've been doing because we're like in forefront of all the headache. I used to remember 2 years ago talking about Bitcoin and getting like, yeah, brother, it's haram and all this. So I went through all the catastrophe of being like slandered about promoting or not promoting, even telling that they were a use case. So, but you're totally right, brother. We have a young generation who are hungry for product, and what we're building at you guys will do it at a Fasset and the global Web3 community. It's always by default when it's an Islamic product is by default a superior product, especially if you look at in a decentralized or even in a centralized, but done in a co-sharing of a risk and making sure that the reward is given to every participant. Just with that in mind, it's already building superior product, and I'm sure that Bindillah, with the help of God, inshallah, will be able to make an impact and benefit the community and the greater community as large as well. Actually, one of my main investors is Tim Draper. He's a famous billionaire. At the time, he was asking me, "Can I invest in a Sharia compliance product like you?" And I was laughing. I'm like, if you invest respecting the rule of investment in a Sharia way, you're more than welcome. And he was actually one of the first ones to remove some of the non-Sharia compliance notes to make it Sharia. So it's also, mashallah, so what we are doing, the early guys, it's really impacting not only at the technology level, but even in a mindset of a non-Muslim trying to invest in the Sharia compliance way. So alhamdulillah, and thanks to your great work. Faraz, I've been following you, and you're my daily read actually on what you guys are. So it's amazing that we have you and in the forefront of innovation and being able to break down in a very simple word to every layman to understand what is behind this very complicated technology that is actually simple if you become an end user. And that's our job, is to make those products hyper simpler for people to come in. And thank you again, Gareth and Faraz, for having me, and it's a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you so much, Murad, and it's been a pleasure to welcome you onto Frontier Finance today. We hope we get the chance to talk to you again as things with Taka Dao progresses. All the best of luck with the project. We'll be driving as many people to you as we can through all the links we'll share as well through all of our social media channels. Thanks once again to Mufti Faraz for another great session. Thank you again to Murad, and thank you again to everyone who's tuned in to join us today. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.